Hey, what's up, my comic book peeps? It's your boy J Rock. I'm here today with my guest, Captain Cummings and Wonky Ninja. We're gonna be reviewing Revival Volume One. This covers issues 1 through 5, written by Tim Philly. So let's get into it, guys. Let's let me know what you guys think about the writing.
Uh-oh, that's probably me.
I always forget this. Hold up.
What's that, to turn off
Okay.
the volume so you're not echoing?
Okay.
Yeah. I always forget to turn on the YouTube with the video, the live stream. Well, so what do you guys think about the book?
I think it's great.
I thought it was right.
It
Like
was
it's like I like it's a different twist on the zombie genre. Cause to me, the zombie genre is kind of like so played out. Like I'm not a big zombie guy to begin with, and then it's like like more of the same. This is kind of different.
Yeah. Well, I mean, anybody that doesn't know, like, the zombies keep coming back whether you get harvested your organs, they grow back or whatever. And it's like a sickness that's going on in town. And so it's got, you know, the same Walking Dead type element, except everybody keeps coming back instead of dying. That's
Hmm.
pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that here. They're the zombies when they're called revivers, and they're basically just regular humans, but they come back to life, but they go back about their life, and they kind of quarantine their little city or whatever they're in. What city were they in the book?
Lawsuit. So,
yeah, cluster.
Yeah, so they're in this little city, and they just say just quarantine the city, don't let them out, and don't let people in, and just let them fix their own problem. Basically, that's what the U.S. government said, right?
hmm
Yeah,
Now,
I
how
found it
would
really
you?
funny
I don't know.
how
'Cause how would you feel if someone died and you see them come back to life and you're just like nothing happened? Okay, cool. Let's go back home and go back on with our lives.
that's what I thought was odd about this book was how cool everybody in town was with the fact that all these dead people were walking around. Like all these
Hmm.
revivers were walking around like they were just taking it in stride, like, it was just sitting at the cafe, eating dinner and, whatever. And no, I think I would be a little more freaked out if I was quarantined inside of
Oh
town
yeah.
with people that had come back to life.
yeah. Well, and to a certain extent, like, they're not like you said earlier, like their bodies are coming back. So it's just like me sitting here, you know. It's not like a decaying zombie at the same time. But yeah, I think that would be really shocking.
Yeah, I don't care
I guess is the word.
if I know that Philip died yesterday and then, all of a sudden he's going to hang out with me. I'm going to be a little weirded out by that. If my
Oh
grandma
yeah.
did,
I wouldn't
uh,
trust him. To
weirded
be
out
honest,
if
I wouldn't
my
trust him.
grandma set up in the casket.
What if he tries to eat my brain when I'm not looking? Right? Like
Yeah. I'm
I
not
thought
going
they
to
should
be
have.
worthy and letting the kids play out in the yard by themselves and run off into the woods or do whatever like these people in this book seem to be. But
Yeah, I thought they should have touched on it more, like where the revivers get quarantined or something and do like experiments on them. It's like the equivalent of an alien landing here. He's not just gonna live amongst us. Government's gonna take them. They're gonna experiment on them, and they're gonna try to find out stuff.
How long have you been how far have you read this book?
I've only read the first volume, the
I've
first
only
five
Oh,
issues.
well, you're in store for
first,
for a lot. It's really awesome.
but it does basically have to do with aliens, right? That's what this guy is that's running around.
Yeah, they
I,
hint on
I
the
haven't gotten
background.
that far. I don't
Yeah,
know.
no, in the
That
background.
white creature is weird.
Hmm. Yeah, they keep showing like a demon or whatever in the background running through the forest. So I'm interested to see what's up with him. Like it's hinting that he has something to do with the whole revival situation. So I'm interested in volume two. Like I like the pacing of it that they didn't give me those answers in the first volume. But I felt that I liked the fact that dragged out and get me to
hmm
want to read the next volume.
I don't think we even still know what's going on with that thing. That's what's I mean, that's good horror right there, you know, where they don't tell you there's something supernatural going on, but is it supernatural or we just don't understand it at this time, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Leave you on suspense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
like
one
the
thing that I
artwork
did with
too.
this is I felt like it was playing the long game. That like, you know, there was a clear way that this, you know, he had this story plotted out past, you know, what I was reading. A lot of times whenever you read a trade or whatever and you get to the end of that first arc, it's kind of like you can kind of see where that's a cutoff point. Like, you know, there wasn't this, you know, long story that they were planning on telling or whatever. And, you know, that's something, I mean, I like that about Tim Seeley's writing, that he always seems like he has like 12, 18 issues of something plotted out before he gets into.
yeah. I like also the relationship with the two sisters. I thought that was the best part of the book. Really, was the whole dynamic with them and the dad.
Yeah. Yeah, because the
Yeah, I thought the
sister.
dynamic with the dad and the revived sister was really good. I mean, well, with
Mhm.
both of them, but the way that he was so overprotective of the revived sister,
Yeah,
and
even though she can get hurt and come back now, you know.
yeah. I thought that was really cool. Like, I mean, it was a totally different aspect of like, you know, like as a father, you know, if you were to lose a child and that child were to come back and you were to get a second chance with that, like how overprotective would you be of, you know, making sure that nothing bad was going to happen again?
Mhm.
Hmm. Also, I felt like with the sisters characters, I thought they were developed real good. Like they feel fleshed out already. Where like I kind of feel I already know what their personalities are, so I kind of feel like I already know the way they're gonna react to situations.
Well, because the cop sister, you know, her father's like what, the sheriff or whatever, or the top position in the police, whatever. And like, you know, so it's almost like you feel this sort of like she's underachieving or you know, sort of feeling from her father type of thing or something
Hmm.
like that. Like it's kind of, you know, like he's not really proud of her or something like that. That's what I kind of get from her as a
Yeah,
character.
Mm.
And so it's kind of relatable, you know, because not everybody, but I mean, a lot of people have that sort of feeling sometimes, I guess.
yeah, it's kind of like he's harder on her.
Yeah.
I just like how crotchety he is. Like just about everything, like the whole situation that's going on with the revivers, like it's just like he's kind of over it, and you know it seems to be like this big like media attraction, and you know he's just kind of tired of talking to them, and he's tired of dealing with the CDC, and you know he just wants somebody to like come in and like say, this is what's going on, you know this is how we're going to fix it, and you can stop dealing with your town being quarantined, and you know all of this stuff. I just like how crotchety he is, like. You know, a lot of
Well,
times,
yeah,
like
because
in a
he's like a
situation
small
like you
town
see this in
sheriff.
like
He didn't sign up for the big time city glam stuff.
Hmm.
yeah, well, yeah, he's like this small town sheriff, and a lot of times when you see like in movies or you know TV shows or you know books or whatever, it's like this. The sheriff is always just kind of like this, like you know, like doop doo guy that you know is just like you know doesn't really show like his frustration with you know what's going on in the situation. He's just kind of like you know another character that you
You
know
mean
doesn't.
like Andy Griffith or something like that?
Yeah, yeah. I'm thinking of like in Eureka, you know, like the TV show Eureka, that like there's all of this crazy stuff that's going on in town, and then you've got this sheriff that's just kind of like coming to town that's just kind of like okay, you know, whatever, you know, or you know like Copperhead, you know, that you've got this sheriff that comes into just like this total freaking race war and everything going on, but she's just kind of like okay, well it's Thursday, what's going on today, or you know,
I think in
something, but.
Copperhead's a little different because I think the sheriff on Copperhead shows up more with like a chip on her shoulder, like trying to prove herself, like trying to make a change. And this guy's more like just accepting it, like it is what it is. Let's just keep moving.
Well, yeah. I mean, and if you're in that type of society, you know, you're already desensitized to it all to a certain extent, you know. So it's more, I guess, accepting to a certain point.
Now you think
Maybe.
they're more
I don't know.
accepting of it? You think they're just more comfortable with it because they look human? Have they look like zombies? You think they but acted normal? You think they would react differently?
If they were zombies.
Yeah, they actually look
I
like
really like
looking out and
I really like the reporter character too, because I think it's kind of cool how she's like, you know, like this small town, like, you know, newspaper person,
Oh, that everybody hates.
like the biggest story ever, like kind of thrown into her lap. And so now, you know, she's like this, you know, huge like person to distribute the information to the outside world and everything. I thought that was kind of cool, you know, just like you're going about your life, you know, you're just this person sitting around a desk, and then one day all this happens, and all of a sudden you're this huge, you know, mega, you know, Diane Sawyer reporter or whatever. I felt like a lot of the characters in this book, like, were in over their heads a little bit, like they didn't sign up for it.
like when you read a story and you start feeling like you kind of you see things unfolding and you kind of feel like you know where it's going. You think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
I mean, you don't want to be bored reading it because you know what's going to happen, but I mean, I guess there's a lot of stories you can kind of guess what's going to happen, but it's like how enjoyable was the ride or whatever.
I think too, when it's kind of predictable, that it kind of sets you up for like a twist, and you know, or something like that, where you think you see where it's going to go.
Yeah, I think this has.
Then you know, it allows when the twist happens, it allows you to just really, you know, feel that, you know. And in print, that's, you know, that's kind of hard to do sometimes. You know, you can do that with a movie, you know, where you're investing such a short amount of time, but when you do it in like a comic or in a book or something like that, that, you know, when you can really hit me with the big twist and it doesn't underwhelm me, you know, I think that's something.
Yeah, also because in a movie, the movies are always predictable. You always have your clear hero, like you know he's gonna make it to the movie, what's gonna happen. You have the girl that needs saving, and you have a clear villain. Like you never once think the villain's gonna kill the good guy, and it's gonna
Or the twist. The twist is always the best buddy double crosses his friend.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
You're like, what?
Yeah, that's one thing I like with TV shows or books that is never that obvious. Like you might get a little bit of a feel when you get to know how a character is, his personality. You're like he's gonna react this way, and to me that's okay because it's like that means they're consistent with the way the personality of the character. They don't just randomly change it. But you never as clear what's gonna happen in the story as in like a movie where it's like always real obvious.
Well, I just always hate whenever I'm reading something and like I know there's going to be this major twist, but I'm thinking to myself, please don't let it be aliens. Please don't let it be aliens. And then it's aliens. And I'm like, seriously, man, you had all this potential. You could have gave me this awesome ending, and you know, yeah, it just turns out that aliens dropped a dome on top of a town. Okay, I get it.
This one, the alien-looking guy that was in the forest, there was never really like a clear bad guy. You just knew they were revivers. And there was this one lady that went nuts, and she was kind of interesting. She was very like creepy. But as far as like, she wasn't really like a villain. She was just a reviver.
He's like a soul, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say. It turns out he's not an alien. He's like, because a guy called him a demon or something. So I was like, whoa, this is.
Yeah, I think he's like a soul. Like that woman that had been drowned in the river or whatever. That I think whenever the revivers came back, that maybe because she didn't have a body, she was just a loose soul. And so she was just kind of roaming around, you know, as this like thing. You know, this just, you know, kind of like ghost-like thing. I don't know.
I'm interested to see because towards the end.
I think though, man, that for 5 issues that there's a lot of story packed into this book. I mean, just all the different characters. You know, I feel like every character in here, like I kind of know them. I mean, even people that aren't even in the book that much, like the secretary at the police station. Like, you know, she's barely in the book, But I kind of feel like, you know, the couple of interactions that she had, even like I kind of know that character, you know.
Yeah, I agree with you as far as I think that every character got developed pretty good. Like you kind of get an idea of what everybody's about. Like, all right, this was like this. Like you feel everybody's swag and everything. But I don't think the story moved along that much because they were concentrated more on just developing the characters, which I didn't mind because I'm more of a character-driven person. I like to see I like to have good characters in my stories more than before I actually like how can I tell you? I like to invest more in the characters than the story.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of like that they did that. That they went with like letting you know what each character is and what he's about, and then maybe now in the next volume they'll review a little more about the story because they just introduce you to the demon and to like this guy that does exorcisms, but he's like a fraud, and it's kind of like a setting up that he's gonna be the villain, and he has some type of interactions with these demons before, so I don't know if the demon's a good guy and he's the bad guy or what's going on. But we got introduced to all the players so far. Like now it's just we're
I love whenever he's yelling at that girl in the bed. In fact,
Yeah.
yeah. The
I like when in the bed about the
that was
fact
a good
that
scene. That was a good scene.
all faking and everything, and he's all like, you know, I'm gonna walk out of here, and you're gonna tell your parents that I cured you, and you know, blah 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 blah. And then, like it just shows her like standing at the window or whatever, you know, like totally.
Yeah,
You know,
that scene was awesome.
that's hilarious.
Yeah, he spots that she's faking it, and yeah, instead of snitching on her, he goes, "Look, I know you're just faking it because you're just a bored little girl that wants attention. So you're gonna pretend I fixed you." Yeah, that was funny. He goes, "You're gonna pretend I fixed you, so that way people think I'm this guy that works magic and fixes people. That way you don't get in trouble either." And we,
Yeah, you're kind of a faker. I'm kind of, we're gonna work together here, and everybody's gonna be cool.
yeah, that was a real good scene.
I like that hippie guy too. I thought he was pretty cool.
Was that
Like I wish there was
the guy that's always
that I
singing Limp Bizkit?
that
Or
Oh, the Limp Bizkit, that was the journalist, wasn't it?
no, it's like page 4, I think, or something like that. It's that dude with the beard.
yeah, the one that used to be like a musician or something.
This
and,
guy in the green tracksuit.
Yeah, I remember him.
He's always
Yeah.
singing Limp Bizkit.
He's just kind of like this old hippie, man. It just freaking cracks me up.
Yeah, so the lady got that phone from him. They had the ghost. So what do you think? You think she's gonna put that on the news?
I can't
I
remember.
don't know. I'm gonna be really curious to see what happens in the next volume of this. I wish I would have went ahead and picked it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely finish reading that. See what happens with the whole So I'm not convinced that Demon died. I think he fell like in water or something, and they just left it at that. So I'm pretty sure he's still alive. And I want to see what the beef with him and that guy is, with that that wannabe exorcist guy.
Mm-hmm.
Because it seemed like the way he was speaking to him, sounded like they had a long going beef. Like it's not the first time they met each other. And you think they never explained what makes it different the difference between a reviver that's good and one that starts uh, turning more zombie-like? Did they? I don't think they did.
Is there a difference?
Well,
Because I think they always come back fine, don't they?
No, because there's this
yeah, they
old
all fine. I think the reason that maybe that some of them kind of went feral was because of the fact that like maybe you were happy
Really
being
messed
dead.
up.
You know, maybe you don't want to come back and be a reviver and you know continue to live in like this old man. I mean, like he's kind of in a compromised state. I mean, would I want eternal life if I was in like a you know a compromise? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it affects the older revivers in a different way because the old lady burned down the house and attacked and killed the sheriff's daughter.
Yeah.
So she was not like a regular reviver, like she wigged out, and so was this guy. He's kind of wigging out too, like in a different way. And they're both like senior citizens. and the like regular younger people, they keep acting normal. So I don't know. Maybe they can't handle the reviver. When they revive, maybe they can't handle it as good as someone younger, someone like healthier.
Yeah, I think that's playing with the thought of like, you know, when you're older, you're almost ready to go because you've completed your cycle of life.
Yeah, like you can't fight off, like when you're older, you can't fight off the
Like,
season.
you get to a certain point. I mean, how much longer do you really want to stay around? I mean,
Forever. I want to live forever.
Your life.
Well, because to a certain extent, like the human beings always try to strive to live longer or whatever. Like that's what we do, is try to live as long as possible. But to a certain extent, in your psyche, you know, you're like 80 years old and you're going to go at some time, so you're mentally prepared.
Yeah.
You're going to live as long as you can, but you're mentally prepared. So when you die and you come back, you're like, what the hell?
Well, and it would also kind of suck too, because you wouldn't know when you came back, you know, tomorrow, am I going to die again? Like, you know, that you've mentally prepared yourself for, like, you know, 5, 10 years or whatever, for the fact that eventually you were gonna die. But then whenever you come back, you don't know whether or not, you know, the next day, you know, maybe the revival thing, you know, reverses and, you know, you're just dead. You know.
Yeah, imagine that happens and everybody.
I would take fun.
Or what if you're some sort of like really, really religious, and you die and you come back, and now you think you're like, where is that? Where you're in
Messiah.
Yeah, you're waiting to go to heaven until the what is that?
Second coming.
The second coming or whatever, and you think you're like, you know, in the it really just where's that? Where you're in between.
The what?
Purgatory.
Purgatory. I was like P word. How am I forgetting the P word? Purgatory. You're like, you think you're in purgatory or something. And so like that. I mean, like you said, like if you saw somebody come back, that would be crazy. But if you actually came back, like.
Yeah, I would be tripping out if I fucking drop dead right now. Then I just come back to life, like, hey. I grow wings and shit.
Wasn't anybody in this town that was like a crazy religious that thought that like, this was like the second coming, like the end of the world, that there aren't anybody like in the streets with pitchforks, you know, talking about you know, this is the second coming, or you know, there were none of those people.
Yeah, you're right. I thought that would have been a lot more interesting than they do stuff like that, because it hinted a little bit with that guy doing the exorcism, like towards religion, because he's bringing out crosses and all that bullshit. Like, I was like, this could get interesting here. Like, if they start bringing out, yeah, like some religious nut thing, or the second coming of Jesus, because this
yeah, well, that's what I think this guy that's trying to exorcise the demon. I mean, he's obviously some kind of like showman or something. I mean, this seems like the perfect opportunity for him to like go out and just be like, you know, the greatest preacher that the world has ever known. You know, I'm standing at the foot of Revelations, or you know, something that I don't know. Like I said, I just felt like everybody in this town was way too calm.
Yeah.
Going back up from the dead.
If that ever happened in the real world, you would definitely have a lot of religious nuts saying that shit. Like, look, something supernatural is happening here. Like, people are coming back to life. Like you would have people with the Bible really, you know, preaching to you the stories that it's in the Bible or whatever, judgment there, or who knows what, right? Because I'm not too familiar with it, but I know there's a lot of fiction in there.
Yeah, we got some of them that carry signs around.
That would be definitely like that would have been interesting to go there. Like, I don't know, maybe it does later. Also, this guy, I get the feeling he's not human, cause he has like
guy?
The guy in the motorcycle.
Oh.
Showman, cause he's talking to this demon like, oh, we've been through this before. Like, we fought over. Like, he's making it sound like they fought for hundreds of years already. So I'm like, I don't think this guy's like human. He might be the devil or something.
I don't know.
Because he was not even, he was not the
We'll
least
see
bit
if
freaked out by the ghost. He was just like, oh, you again, like one of you guys.
I don't want
he
to
was
say
one of
because
my
I've read like
characters in
4
the.
of them. So,
Yeah, yeah, we'll definitely have to do a review on the second, after I read the second volume. We'll do, we gotta do one on the second volume of this, and on the second volume of Why the Last Man. I still gotta read that. That one was good.
oh, I read that whole series in like a week. That was really good.
Yeah, yeah. If you guys
Yeah,
want to, whenever you guys want to, we'll do
man,
the next Why the
that
Last
is. I
Man
haven't
volume.
read him a while.
Yeah, we'll do Why the Last Man. The next thing we did the first 2 issues, the first 2 volumes. We'll do the volume 3.
Yeah, I can't believe I haven't read the second volume on that because I really, really liked that first volume.
Oh, it was good.
It's
It
really
was
good.
probably my favorite from the ones we reviewed. So, well, we done 5 reviews already. That's been my favorite so far. Is that Why the Last Man?
And the thing about that is, like, that's a series where I was worried it wasn't going to stick the landing, but then it was like an ending that I was like, that is probably one of the best endings to a series.
Oh yeah, that's to me that's so important. That when you don't seal a deal, it feels like an unfinished project, or like like unfinished business. Like wait a minute, like,
Well, because so many series don't have like an ending or whatever, you know. It's
hmm
like it was all right, but in
yeah,
superhero comics, they never really have like a definitive ending.
yeah, 'cause they gotta keep going. Yeah,
but,
yeah, they gotta
but
keep
like,
going
why the
on.
last man? Like that's the end. Like that's all there is.
Yeah, any series that goes like 50 issues or 100 issues where you have like a clear beginning and you know like I'm gonna end in 80 issues because I already have an idea of where the story's going and where it's gonna end. I like that because they seem more complete as to where like with the superheroes well we gotta keep going. These are never gonna end, right? So you sometimes I feel like they're just winging it, like just do whatever because we gotta keep the title going.
Yeah.
Well, I wish that some comic book companies now, man, particularly big studios, would sort out ahead of time what exactly it is that they want to do with the series and just make that be what they're going to do with that series. Because Boom has a really bad habit of like saying, okay, we're going to give somebody 8 issues, and then it sells well, and they say, all right, well, we're going to give you another, 8 issues, but then it stops selling, and so they cancel the series. So like, I never really like get a full resolution of what happened in the story, and at the same time, I kind of get a watered down version of the story because of the fact that you extended it and then canceled it early.
hmm
I don't know.
That's what I like about Batman. Oh, wait up. So we're already getting out onto. I was gonna start talking, rambling about Batman and about. I'll save that for after we do our finish the review.
Oh, okay.
Off topic. All right. So what do you guys what grade would you guys give this?
I'd give it an A personally because I think it's better than The Walking Dead, and I think The Walking Dead's good. So
And then you, Tom?
Yeah, I would probably go about an 8, 8.5, something like that. I mean, I really enjoyed it. I thought it had great character development, and uh, I can't wait to read more of it. And I think that's a good sign on any series. And I really enjoyed Mike Norton's art, and whoever did the coloring. Uh, I thought the
It
color
was okay. It didn't blow me away, but it was okay. It wasn't bad.
in it was amazing.
I think it's really great.
But 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 yeah, I'm gonna give it the same score as you guys though, an 8 as well. I thought it was pretty good. It was my favorite part was the other character, not necessarily the story, because I felt like it just explained those revivers, never explained why or how it happened or anything. I felt nothing happened story wise except for the girl dying, but it did introduce you to everybody that we're gonna need to know the rest of the way. So that's how it felt.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I think it's like I said. I think that he had a story thought out that he wanted to go 18 issues or whatever with it,
Mhm.
and so he knew that he had time in his first trade to really develop those characters so that you were invested in them in later issues.